Hello YouTube. This is my second attempt at a video about my 1/400 scale and other die-cast airplane collection. My first one uploaded as a standard definition video, and frankly it was pretty bad, so hopefully this one will possibly be better. I changed the settings on my phone. So anyway, we'll try it again. Obviously I have a bunch of airliners. This is my main display case. There's 241 at this moment, 1/400 scale airliners, and with a few more on the way in the mail. But that's the extent of my collection at this point. We'll walk up to the couple of the miscellaneous ones on the top here. A 200 scale A380 and another 200 scale American logoed 747. Obviously the USS Enterprise there from the TV show, the original TV show, and that's the Gorn ship in front of it. I work for American Airlines, so the primary focus of my collection, I don't know about the primary focus, but I have a lot of American airliners. This is my first shelf, and this is my attempt to show the current members of our fleet. My most recent purchase, Gemini Jets came out with the A321s in the legacy colors. America West, Piedmont, PSA, and Allegheny. We had three, or I should say four A319s painted in those colors. But those aircraft, I believe, got repainted to the gray livery or got retired. I'm not 100% sure. The fifth one is the US Air Legacy A321, but it's been out there for a little while. Just give you a little bit of an overview. The only one that doesn't really fit here is the 767 in the back there in the One World colors. It's probably hard to see from here because we don't fly the 76 anymore. But for the most part, that's that shelf. If I move down to my second shelf, this is my the bulk of my 747 collection. I have a few others, of course, but frankly, just ran out of room on this shelf. A couple of members here, the number 12 Seahawk cargo. And I guess one of my highlights, although it's kind of hard to see with this light here, but that's the Columbia Airlines 747 from the movie Airport 75. And then just follow up with the, that's the city of Everett. So you come down to my next shelf. This has become my tri-jet shelf. Obviously there's mostly DC-10s, 727s, but I do have one Eastern L1011. Frankly, I wish I had some more. But come down to my next shelf. 737s in the front. I got caught up in collecting the Southwest State airplanes, which is just fine. But the unfortunate reality is, you come down here to the end, just as an example, Colorado and Tennessee. Tennessee has the new tail, Colorado has the old tail, and I can't remember if it's NG or Gemini Jets now makes them with both tails, and I'm not about to collect the entire series with old tail and new tail, so I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. And then the back, couple miscellaneous, the Patriots jet, obviously, British Airways Concorde. Further back, that's the Delta, Spirit of Delta, that the employees bought for the airline at one point. A couple of 76s there. America West colors, TWA transition colors, 75. Go down to my next shelf. A lot of my MD-80s are down here, and of particular interest to me is my Reno Air collection, because I used to fly for Reno Air before I flew for American. So I believe I have most of the 400 scale American logoed Reno Air jets, or the Reno Air colored jets. And I can't help but notice that Gemini Jets just came out with 90, I believe that's the 1904RA with the snowboarder on the tail. But then a previous model, I don't know if I have the right one there or not, it's hard to tell from here, but that's 904, again, a 904RA in the American transition colors. So moderately interesting, I guess. In the back row there, that was the Aero Classics version of those Legacy, again, Allegheny, PSA, Piedmont, and America West colors in the 319s. But like I said, I believe that we being American painted those back to the livery and or retired those aircraft. The second Allegheny is the Gemini Jets came out with their version of it. But as far as I know, they didn't come out with the other 319s, except in an older series where they had US Airways colors instead of the American colors, which was the transition. Right down here in the end, it's of interest to me because those are West Air, that's a West Air Bach jet and a West Air Shorts Brothers. And I actually used to fly for West Air at one point before I flew for Reno Air, although I never flew those two aircraft. Continuing, pardon my non-sophistication here as I switch doors. To my right top shelf, which is my past American shelf, if you will. So most of them in the old liveries. Of interest maybe is the 7.4 in the far left corner there in Pan Am lease colors. Apparently American leased 747s at one point from Pan Am before they acquired some of the assets, and I think that's where they got the second one there, the regular 7.4. I think they got those from Pan Am. And then just looking, a couple of 707s, DC-10, MD-11, 7.6. On down to some of the interesting older jets. Actually, Convair, a couple of 707s, some of the turboprops, the Electra, and then finally down to the two DC-3s that I'm aware of available in a 400 scale. And then some of the American Eagle turboprops I kind of put in the front there. Going down to the next shelf has become my unofficial Airbus shelf. Obviously several A380s in the back. And then in the front, slight interest to me again is the A318, which is not a real common JC. That's British Airways colors. And then moving into 320s, there's a 310 right there actually. A couple of 330s, and then another 318 in delivery colors with the Sharklets. Moving down to my next shelf, kind of, a mishmash of older jets of possible interest. That's the Transglobal 707 from the Airport movie. In the front row, I have my Qantas Aboriginal paint schemes that they've had over the years. I believe there's a A220 that Gemini just made. I may try to get that one. That's the JC wings. Air Tahiti Nui is a 787. That doesn't really fit there, but just where I had room. The 787 here is the NG version. And I like that version better than the Phoenix because they made the attempt to do the changing orange paint scheme from front to the back, to where on the Phoenix, I think it was a Phoenix issue, it's just a uniform orange. So down my next shelf, there's not very many planes on this shelf. But these are here for the corny reason that they're Pokemon jets. And my wife and I are kind of into Pokemon. So I think these are most of them. I think there's probably a few more out there that I don't have in the Pokemon logos. Get down to more of my general, maybe government, military shelf, except for the Trump plane, which depending on your politics, you might say it's valuable or not. It used to be valuable, then it wasn't, then maybe it was again. There's the two Russian freighters. I keep forgetting if it's the Anatov 225 or is the big one with the 6 engines. I think that got blown up in the Ukraine war. Obviously, Space Shuttle Enterprise on its piggyback, Dragon Wings, of course. And then also the Endeavour Space Shuttle. You go to the back here, you have to have, everybody needs a B-52 and then maybe a B-29. It's as far back as I can go. A couple of the, I believe one of them's Truman's, Air Force One, one of them's Eisenhower's. And then into the 707s and the 757 in government colors, a couple of freighters back there. So that's the 400 scale fleet, such as it is. We'll walk over to my first, well, it's my World War II cabinet with the non-fitting 919 hybrid Porsche race car that won the 2017 Le Mans. It's her 19th overall victory. And then you go to my 1/32 scale Hellcat, purchased for the corny reason it was on sale. Come over to an Air Force One branded B-17 in the 909 colors. And apparently it was a B-17 that survived the war. Actually it flew, I could have sworn I saw that it flew like 45 missions or something. Noteworthy, I guess. Come down to the first shelf. I have a lot more World War II fighters than I ever intended, unfortunately, because there's quite a sale at the Flying Mule, frankly. So I was able to get 2 Thunderbolts instead of 1 like I would have had. Although I would have got these 2, because you had the, I guess, I don't know if they, I know they call it the bird cage on the Corsair, but that's more the bird cage canopy. And then you go to the bubble canopy. This is kind of a hybrid. That's my clock. Sorry about the clock in the background. So down to the Battle of Britain shelf and Spitfire, Hurricane, Adolf Gallen's ME-109, and an RAF utility truck I managed to find. Down to the Japanese fighter shelf. The first one there is just a, I guess you'd call it a run-of-the-mill green and green colored Zero. I'm not sure what that paint scheme would be called. I'm sure you guys can tell me. This is the Hobby Master colors of the squadron leader of the Pearl Harbor raid. And then this is I meant to look up the brand again when I didn't do it on my last video, but this is a Val in 1/48 scale. I think they're directly from Japan. It's a obscure company that I found out about. And the reason I have that Val is because this is the carrier Shokaku, and I built this when I was 12 or 13, maybe even 14 years old. And just tooting my horn here, that's hand painted by me when I could do stuff like that. I don't think I could do that now. It's too finely detailed for my old eyes. Again, excuse the door sliding. And we'll go over to I guess you'd call this the Pacific War. This is a Brewster Buffalo. I bought this one on the island of Lihue in Hawaii, so it actually came from Hawaii. I know, big whoop, but I find that interesting. It's in Midway colors. The number 86 Pappy Boyington Corsair. Never flew it, just used it to take a picture in it. What I think's the maybe one of the very familiar, common represented Ira Kepford 29 Jolly Rogers Corsair. You move up to P40 Flying Tigers colors. Again, a Midway painted Wildcat. I believe it's from the Yorktown, and a Focke-Wulf 190. And then this is the Air Force One 1/72nd scale B25. It's a signed version by Richard Cole before he passed away, obviously. And then you kind of saw them initially. These are my Mustangs. I only meant to have one, maybe two of these, but I got three because, again, that Flying Mule sale. But this is Chuck Yeager's P51 from Hobby Master. And I believe this blue one is on display in Oshkosh. And then just the Dodo, which is just another signed by the pilot, but again, it was on sale. So finally moving over to my last cabinet, where I have some of my 1/200 scale airliners. My initial self-induced filter was I was only going to allow myself to buy 200 scale airplanes that I'd actually flown. So that's a 320, an Airbus 320 and an Airbus 321. And then we move down. You know, I just lied to you. This is my 319 and my 320. And then down here is my 319 with sharklets, and then my 321, or my 737. You know, I just lied to you guys again. So anyway, 320, 321, 319, 737. There we go. Move on down to the MD-80 in American colors, and then the Gemini Jet MD-80 in Reno Air colors. Now, obviously, I didn't fly the DC-3, but it was available in 200 scale, so I got that on display also. And moving further down, I've always enjoyed the Navy logoed fighter jets. This particular one, the Phantom, looked very Navy-like, for lack of a better description. It's kind of the first one I bought that kind of got me going on the military airplanes again. And I'd already had the plaque from the Midway Museum. So when I saw the airplane available at a show, I bought it, and that kind of started me into buying these military jets to an extent. And down there's just my miscellaneous shelf. And that's actually the Hallmark Wright Flyer. I can't remember the scale that it's in, but it's a nice enough version. I decided to put it on display down there. So that kind of sums up my airplane collection. And again, if there's any interest, this cabinet here and the boxes underneath is, I have a 1/48 scale B-17 from the Franklin Mint. I also happen to have the Gemini Jet Airport. I think it's like the latest release, give or take. So deciding which ones I may or may not put in that cabinet. So I may make a video on that, again, if there's any more interest in this. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and thanks for your attention.